There's something that's called in Hebrew, and it's unfortunately is common in English, amatat chesed, which is killing for kindness. Killing for kindness. Euthanizing. Where people, doctors specifically, and unfortunately families of sick people, sometimes because of age, sometimes because of a deadly disease, decide that the patient is suffering too much and therefore decide to kill them. And if that's not bad enough, they call it kindness. They say, look, he's suffering a lot. We just decided to end the suffering by simply pulling the plug and letting him die. Isn't that kindness? He's not suffering anymore. Now, if this world was it, if this world was the beginning and end of life, you're right. You're 100% right. If he ends his life here and there's nothing after this life, then why should he suffer? But since we know from the Torah that life does not end here, and since there is endless evidence in the Torah and also in the scientific world that there is life after death, you ending his life prematurely is 100% murder. And if that's not bad enough, you called murder kindness. The question is, kindness to who? Kindness to him, that now he suffers less in this world, but because of that, he ends up suffering more in the next world, because that suffering that he or she had before they officially die, whenever Hashem decided, that's worth a ton of much worse suffering in the next world. A minute of suffering here, is worth a ton of suffering over there. A person that understands that, looks at the commentary by the Ramban, Nachmanides, at the book of Job, where he says 70 years of suffering in this world like Job did. He suffered for 1 year. But let's say a person suffers 70 years like Job, which he had the worst type of suffering any human ever had in the history of mankind. No one suffered more than Job. All of his kids died. He lost all of his money. He got so sick to the point where there was maggots coming out of his body. Be disabled. The worst of the worst. Hashem eventually healed him. But the point being is there's a certain damage that he couldn't bring back the kids back to life. Now he gave new kids. But the point being is that he suffered for a year, if you will. The Ramban writes, somebody suffering like Job for 70 years is not even equivalent to 1 minute. 1 minute in Gehinnom. 1 minute in Gehinnom. But that suffering that you have, that 1 minute of suffering that you have here, is worth a ton of replacement of time that's potentially going to be suffering in Gehinnom. Which means that when you kill somebody prematurely because you want to end their suffering to be kind to them, you're not being kind to them. In fact, there are many stories I've heard from Rav Nisim again, from Rav Mizrahi, from my Rav Ephraim, and others, that people that have had these dreams or experiences, all types of things, where they realize what happens life after death. In one particular case, there was a doctor himself, who asked the family to kill their family member, and the family refused. But he said, yeah, but he's suffering. He's never going to be alive again. He's done. All you're doing is just killing him, and slower, and he's suffering. And the family refused to listen to him. This doctor decided that he is more merciful than the family is, and he pulled the plug himself, killing the person. He says that night, that person that he killed prematurely came to him in a dream and started yelling at him and screaming at him, and he didn't know what to do with himself. But he thought, okay, maybe it's just in my head. But he kept coming to him every single night, to the point where he got scared to go to sleep. He was scared to go to sleep. Eventually he came to, I believe it was Rabbi Yaron. He said, Kvod Harav, what am I going to do with this? He says, what did you do? Tells him what he did. He says, you're a murderer. So okay, I'm sorry, but I didn't know there was even life after death. I didn't know nothing. I didn't believe in anything. Now I know, but what am I going to do? He says, you have to do tshuva. You have to keep everything. You have to learn Torah for his sake. You have to do kiruv. You have to help people. The guy did complete tshuva, turn around his life, little by little. Not only did the dream stop, but this person that he killed prematurely thanked him for doing all these mitzvot on his behalf. But the point being, Rabotai, is that he came to him angry at him because he said, listen, you killed me. I was supposed to die in an hour after you killed me. I was going to die. But that hour, because of that hour, they won't let me go to heaven. They won't let me go to heaven. I have to suffer in Gehinnom because of you. And because of that, I'm going to torture you. I'm going to this to you. I'm going to that to you. Hashem Yishmo. Now, people that euthanize other people, they think they're doing them a favor. In Israel, they even call it amatat chesed, killing as a kindness. Now, surely if you go to one of these clinics, one of these murder institutions, they will have a smile. They will tell you that they're doing the world a service and they're helping people out. Now, as a side note, if someone is suffering dearly and it's to the point where it's certain that this person is just a matter of time before he dies, and he's suffering dearly, and he himself tells you, if I get to a point where you have to resuscitate me, don't resuscitate me. Then you're allowed to listen to him. But that's only if he says it, not if somebody else says it or you decide as a doctor. Only if he says it himself. He's in essence saying, don't resuscitate me if I lose consciousness or something like that happens. You're allowed to listen to him. But to go pull a plug on somebody and to kill somebody with a shot or something else, there's no kindness in that whatsoever. It's 100% murder, and a person that does it or enables another person to do it is going to be punished severely as a murderer.